Hi, this is Les Halmos from the Amherst Railroad Hobby Show. I'm in the booth Exact Rail with the new CEO, John Pestana. Hi, John. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Les. How are you?
How long have you been CEO?
Since Monday.
That's it.
So about a week.
A week.
It's been a fun time so far, though.
Well, that's great. Well, Exact Rail in the past 2 years have brought out 45 new models. Wow, that's mind-boggling. Do you feel that you're going to be able to keep that up this year?
Yeah, over the last couple of years we have kept up quite a pace, and it's been an exciting time for the company. I've been involved in the company from the very start, myself as one of the co-founders, and we intend to keep up the pace of continuing to make tons of new cars over the coming years.
Well, that's great. I see that about 2/3 of the cars are HO. Is this something, is this percentage going to be that way, or are you going to be doing a little more?
Yeah, for the most part, we feel that we'll keep the same percentage as what we've done in the past. HO tends to be the largest market out there, and so we've leaned a little towards that. But we love N-scale, and we've made many N-scale cars over the past year.
John, is prototype accuracy the same for all scales?
I think in the hobby that you have different levels between just different individuals on what they enjoy, whether they're very prototype modelers or whether they just enjoy the hobby for fun. Exact Rail is definitely focused more on the prototype modelers who are very interested in every detail, every rivet on the car. Obviously, because we make models, the air hoses don't actually function on the car, but
no kidding.
we focus on trying to make the cars as accurate as possible. Between the HO and the N-scale markets, I actually think that they both really get into the prototype. More the issue has to do with the fact that in the smaller cars, the N-scale cars, you actually just can't have as much detail. But they do enjoy the detail, and we hear just as much from our N-scalers as we do from the HO scale modelers.
Well, from what I see in the booth, they're very, very nice cars, and I haven't seen those very often.
Yeah, we really try and focus on making things as good as we can. Even in N-scale, we're trying to push the boundaries on that and make it better.
Have you looked at narrow gauge?
I have looked at narrow gauge. I look at really all the markets out there, even from O scale to Z scale, and we're always looking at opportunities. We're looking at how we can grow the company in the future. We haven't necessarily come up with plans exactly on what we want to do, but we definitely intend on growing our company and continuing to make better, more products. So
I noticed that Exact Rail is known for its quality products, and it's superior detail. We don't see that too often in every cars. One surprise we had, though, was your girder bridge all of a sudden. Can we expect some more product surprises in the near future?
Yeah, our girder bridge was an exciting project that we had, and totally different than what we had done in the past. We definitely have more things like that coming down the pipe. We aren't ready to announce anything yet, but you will definitely see more things coming from us. Again, this is part of our goal to kind of diversify our product lines, to continue to grow as a company, to try and maintain that we're becoming one of the newest, best manufacturers out there.
That's great. Well, this question coming up is one of our readers, and many of our people ask the question.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to go into modeling or building locomotives?
When you look at the history of our company, in the past we used to do a lot of tooling for other manufacturers, and in that past we did a lot of locomotives. When we started the company, we decided to focus on rolling stock at first. You've now seen us move into bridges, so
That's
you can
more or less. Yes.
We don't have anything to announce, but I definitely see things like that in our future.
I see you have different names for your products, like Signature and all. Can you give us a little detail on what those differences are?
Sure. So what we've tried to do in our product line is we have Express, Evolution, Platinum, and Signature lines of cars, and each of those different series represent a different level of detail really to the car. When you look at our lowest end models, which is our Express series, those have a lot more molded in detail into the car, but they still are, like if you compared it to other manufacturers, or even our Express series is very high end. It still has very nice trucks on it with metal wheels. It has KD couplers on the cars. Really the difference is like in the grabs and things like that, them being molded in versus separately applied parts. Where you get into our Platinum line and our Signature line, those two product lines are actually the same level of detail in the car. It just has more to do with the Signature or railroad specific. And so we just decided to kind of differentiate between those because you won't see as many road names coming out in a Signature model. But they still have all the separately applied parts, all the brake rigging underneath. I mean, we go all out on those cars. And you actually can really see that detail in our new 64-foot reefer, which we've brought to the show, that shows off, I mean, amazing number of parts on the car, and the detail level is just really at its best.
Fantastic, it's great. I noticed also you have some weathered cars. Is that something new, or you?
Yeah, so we've done one weathered car, and that was just us honestly trying something out and seeing how it would be received by the industry. They were actually even hand weathered in the United States here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
They're done here.
They were, yeah.
That's great. Most companies announce way in advance their products, and I see Exact Rail is a little different. Can you maybe elaborate on that a little?
Yeah, so the reason why we haven't announced a lot of our products in advance was actually a personal preference by myself and Chris Clune, the other co-founder of the company. When we looked at the industry, we were very tired of getting an announcement and then having to wait a year and a half to get the car. I think it really makes it so people forget about things and they aren't excited about it anymore. We wanted to be able to announce, ship very quickly, keep the excitement level high. There have been a few exceptions to that, but we definitely could plan on continuing to be, I guess, a shorter cycle between announcement to launch. And I don't see that ever being, more than really 60 days for Exact Rail.
Well, one of those exceptions, I believe, was a SP Caboose.
Yep.
And why was that different?
Yeah, so the SP Caboose, we actually announced that beforehand because we were trying to gauge interest level in the car and see, how that was going to come about. We actually had quite a bit of interest in the car. I don't have any really updates on the car, but we're working on it.
No, that's good. What about the Genesis from Athearn? Is that put a kink in your...
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have instances with other competitors of ours who come out with similar cars, and I think as an industry we look at, how can we not be overlapping with each other, because we don't want to do that, because if they're doing a car, I'd love to be able to focus on a different car, I mean, because the reality is all of us are hobbyists and all of us want other cars. But in those situations, sometimes, we do come out with similar cars. We've even had it happen in the past where we've launched a similar car, and we don't necessarily have complete open communications between the companies.
Yeah, well, I guess you don't. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's talk a minute about China. I understand in the past months, I guess, business with China is getting a little tougher. Is that just because of the product or the shipping, or maybe you can give us a little insight on that?
We haven't actually seen that with our I guess, manufacturer in China that we use for our product assembly. One thing that is unique about Exact Rail compared to many of the manufacturers, we actually do all of our own tooling and mold manufacturing here in the United States. We have an engineering team on site at Exact Rail that does all of our product tooling. I think because of that, we're able to send our tooling to be assembled and get the plastic injection done, and we haven't really run into any problems on getting working with the manufacturers over there. They've actually been great to work with and give back.
That's cool.
So,
well, my last question for you is maybe a little personal.
Yeah.
John, what brings John Pestana to Exact Rail? A guy with your credentials, we're sort of surprised to see you coming to this business. But I understand you have a good reason for that. Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. In my past life, I mean, I don't know how many people have followed Exact Rail, but I ran a software company with actually a good friend of mine that we had started in college, and ran it from just the two of us all the way to taking the company public, having over 1,200 employees, to then selling the company to Adobe. And after I finished that process, that I was there for 13 years running a company, I actually decided I wanted to slow down just a tiny bit. And when I did that, I was really looking for something that I could get into, that I could enjoy, that was fun, that my customers really enjoyed. We were in business analytics software, and a lot of people don't get really excited about business analytics software.
I guess not, yeah.
And when the opportunity presented to itself, I met Chris Clune, and he talked with me about the business. I actually do love model trains. I'm not a really hardcore prototype modeler. I'm not a rivet counter, but I do really enjoy them. My father is very, very into trains. And so I thought this was a great opportunity to get involved in a business that would be fun and enjoyable, and something that I could really actually feel too tangibly, and like we actually make something in that, and that's pretty fun to do that process.
That's great. Fun, I think, is the major word, and by what you're telling me, I think Exact Rail's got a nice future coming up.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about your new product just behind you, so if we'll just mosey over on and we can give us a few words on that one.
Yeah, so this is our new Trinity 64-foot reefer. We'll be shipping this in April, and it's been an exciting product for us. I really put a lot of thought and detail into this product, along with Blaine and Chris Clune, and we've really tried to go over the top. It has just enormous amounts of parts on this car, where we've been able to detail everything on the car. I really think it's one of our finest models that we've made to date.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much, and appreciate your time, John, and hope success in the future. Well, I'm with Blaine Hatfield here, who's Vice President Products. Is that right, Blaine?
That's correct. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, same here, and we're looking at these new cars. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit on those?
Absolutely. In addition to our Trinity 64-foot trim cool reefer, we're previewing other new products from Exact Rail, first of which is the second release of our Vertipack. We're very proud to be offering these. A number of these paint schemes have been highly requested from us. We have the Rock Island in the as-delivered paint, the Southern Pacific Vertipack, which was the company who innovated the idea in the late 70s. The Frisco Vertipack, we're offering it in B&O chassis system, Missouri Pacific, and Southern.
Well, that's great. That's a great looking bunch of products. I was just talking with John before about weathering. Are you guys going to provide these weathered?
With the Vertipacks, we won't.
No.
We have provided other weathers cars. And as you know, with our attendance at the show, we've had 4 cars weathered by individuals from the weathering shop, and those cars are being auctioned for charity for the Bay State Health Foundation, which we're very proud to be participating in.
That's real nice. Yeah. Are you planning, though, on going on with weathering further down the line?
It's something for us to be considered. It's difficult to execute at a manufacturing level, but we have experimented with that. Our MP car was custom weathered, and we're very, very proud to be offering that car. That car's been popular for us, and we're going to investigate further ways that we can offer that service to modelers.
Well, thank you very much, Blaine. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Les.
This is Les Halmos reporting again from the Amherst Hobby Show, and back to you,